they're still waging a cold war against the Igbo man in Nigeria. I know it. I don't need to go to school to know that. I don't need to have a PhD in philosophy to know that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. But it would be hypocritical on my side to fight and speak on behalf of Palestinians when Israel is shelling them, and forget to fight on behalf of our local Palestinians in the southeast when Nigerian government is shelling them. That would be hypocrisy on my part.
This is Wednesday, the 3rd day of December 2025. Good morning, everyone. The other day, Mr. Otti, the governor of Abia State, traveled to Sokoto State to visit Nnamdi Kanu. And yesterday, after coming back from Sokoto, he was in Abuja to meet with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the reason why he went to Sokoto and thereafter head to Abuja is because he wants Nnamdi Kanu to be released. And I believe that that is what almost 90% of Igbos want. Now, this video is not just about Otti visiting Nnamdi Kanu, visiting Tinubu, or facilitating, the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that I have promised that I am not going to talk more about Otti's movement because it's not all about talking what he's doing. I don't think it's necessary for people to be even talking about that. So let people give him time patiently to see the diplomatic move he's doing, to see the result of the diplomatic move, okay? So that is not the major purpose of or reason of doing this video. Now, have you seen the level of insecurity in Enugu now? Abia State, Ebonyi State, Imo State, Anambra State? I want to ask a question. Why is it that nobody is now taking it serious to report about these atrocities, these activities, all these kidnappings and killings? Why is it that nobody is reporting it again? Nobody is saying it is ipob again. Nobody is saying it is Nnamdi Kanu boys again. The other day, I appreciate Enugu governor for also taking another steps for buying drones and all those things to combat the banditry or terrorism in Enugu State. But about 6 months ago, we were saying the same thing. The same Enugu governor debunked that there is no bandits or terrorists in his state. You know why? Nnamdi Kanu have not been convicted. Now, I want to let people understand that government is deeper than you think. I pity like ordinary people, ordinary person that don't understand government, that don't understand insecurity, that don't understand what plays out. I pity. You know why? Government is deeper than you think. Do you know that when Asari Dokubo was convicted, was arrested, he was convicted for agitating for Biafra, they charged him for treason at the time? Do you know that the government then now have to create a splinter group? The government used a proxy to create a splinter group. You were saying like, although they say militants are killing people that period, that Asari Dokubo was detained. That time, we understand that these people were sponsored by the government. Why? They want to justify the detention of Asari Dokubo then. They want to justify, the move of Asari Dokubo to say that, yes, he committed terrorism. And you know what? Just like they told Nnamdi Kanu, if you can form a political party, give up on this Biafra agitation, we don't have problem with you. That was what they told Asari Dokubo. Stop all these things, we'll give you contract, we'll do all those things, just stop this Biafra agitation. And Asari Dokubo stopped. And they gave him money, they sent him abroad, they equipped him to whom he is today. So I am trying to make this video because nobody's telling you that ipob is doing this. Look at what is going on now, everywhere, in Edo State, in Delta State, yesterday, in River State, okay? The same River State that, people withstand or resisted the attack of the bandits. The university students, 5 of them were also kidnapped by the same terrorists called bandits. In River State yesterday, this is what we are talking about. So no matter what you say that we are going to fight these people, we are going to do this, are you going to do this thing perpetually? The bandits, I'm sorry to use the word bandit, okay? Because if I didn't use it, you won't understand the terrorist group I'm talking about. The world knows that the people they call bandits in Nigeria has a different kind of connotation. It connotes terrorists, okay? So these terrorists, they are not in haste. You will fight and maybe you will leave this world. Their children will continue to fight your children. And that time your children might not be interested to fight. These people are not in haste. They just want this country to turn into Sharia state. Yerima said it is the ambition of every Muslim to do that. Do you understand? So this is a very terrible situation. I am saying this because a lot of people are psycho-conditioned up to today to believe that Nnamdi Kanu is the reason for insecurity in the South. Let me tell you. Those who were telling you that it is ipob, it is this, it is that, I am waiting for a new story that they are going to tell you again. Because these people have surrounded you. They have surrounded you. They are in your churches. They are in your farms. They are in your markets. Everywhere you go, these people are there. So I'm looking for, let me wait to hear a story that they will still tell you. They started posting videos of people killed. They said Nnamdi Kanu killed them. I shake my head. And I'm still asking the question up till now. What about people dying in Delta, Edo State, all those places? So is this the ipob? I was in the audience where Hope Uzodinma was telling us. I'm talking about the Igbo governor of Imo State. He told us that this insecurity in Ondo, Imo State and here is not ipob. Hope is still alive. You can go and ask him. He did not send people to go and send me. I was in the audience that day when he was saying it. I heard him. He said that all these people terrorizing, they are political talks, that they politicians are using it. This is what Hope Uzodinma said. A lot of people have said the same thing. Then I saw on Facebook, people were talking about the Azoka Labour Party person that was killed, Labour Party House of Assembly member that was killed. People were saying that it was ipob people. I said, what the hell is all these things? Azoka has been confirmed dead, and the people who killed him, they were arrested. Those people confessed that politicians sent them. They released them out of prison. They said they ran away. House of Assembly member, who is a friend to Azoka, came openly and said Soludo killed Azoka. He said so. Didn't you see the video? He said Soludo killed Azoka. But today, people are parading all those. Now, who died in Imo State, Goodluck 8, he was killed by opposition. Hope Uzodinma confirmed that. Security agencies confirmed that. But Omotosho said that it was the ipob people that killed him. Do you see? If government are desperate, they want to do it deliberately, they want to sentence somebody or they want to just kill somebody, they will not listen to logic. They will not listen to evidence. They will go ahead and do what they intended. But it's so unfortunate that the hate against the Igbos are real. Yes, they are real. Because a lot of people jump into issue of Nnamdi Kanu because of what they are hearing, not because of what they know. If you want to know anything about Nnamdi Kanu, I think I can, happily tell you everything I know from 2012. I started following Nnamdi Kanu from 2012. And I didn't regret following him. I didn't regret it because most of the things, because of Nnamdi Kanu, I started digging deep into the problem of Nigeria from that 2012. And what I know about Nigeria today, if you know it, you will just take your bag and go to Cotonou and seek asylum. This is because a lot of Nigerians are not interested to know who is killing them, how they are dying, and so on and so forth. Anyway, it is only time that we, vindicate the just. It happened to Nelson Mandela. It happened to so many people. At the end, what happened? Nelson Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment. He stayed even more than 20 years. He was even arrested with gun. But today we're celebrating. You know why? He was fighting for his people. He was fighting for his people not to be, exterminated, not to be wiped out. Now, let me say this thing for the last time. You are going to see what will be happening in Nigeria, not only Nigeria, in this same Southeast. You will see what will be happening. Just few time to come. But I'm waiting to see whom they are going to blame it upon again.
They're still waging a cold war against the Igbo man in Nigeria. I know it. I don't need to go to school to know that. I don't need to have a PhD in philosophy to know that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. But it would be hypocritical on my side to fight and speak on behalf of Palestinians when Israel is shelling them, and forget to fight on behalf of our local Palestinians in the southeast when Nigerian government is shelling them. That would be hypocrisy on my part.
You've also been in the forefront lately over the issue of Nnamdi Kanu,
Yes.
and very vocal at that. What was going through your mind or your reaction when Justice James Omotosho was reading that life imprisonment judgment on November 20th?
Nothing. You know why? Because as of November 5, I had explained in a long tweet on my page and on my Facebook, on my social media handles, exactly what was going to happen on November 20th. Two things were going to happen in November. They were actually supposed to have jailed Nnamdi Kanu on November 10th. But they realized at the last minute that it was Ken Saro-Wiwa's same day that they killed Ken Saro-Wiwa. Second, the sentence was supposed to be a death sentence. But because they could not get, the support they needed to carry it out, they decided to make it life. Omotosho, as of the time he went for a break to come and read the judgment, was still, what he had in his hand was a judgment for death sentence. If you see the passion with which he was reading the allegations against Nnamdi Kanu, one, the laborious and tedious way he was going, he didn't write the judgment. You can tell. You can tell from his demeanor and his action that this was too much. A lot of mistakes. He couldn't mention his name, said everything properly. And secondly, when he went back, they had to have another meeting with him. They said, look, I don't think we can carry out the death sentence. And that was why they settled for life. And then they imprisoned him, they settled for life, and took him to Sokoto the next day. The fastest transfer of a prisoner. And it was to send a message to the people on whose behalf he was sentenced to life. Because nobody should deceive you. Nnamdi Kanu's offense has nothing to do with what they read as his charges. Some of those charges are dead. Some of them no longer, some of the laws under which they do not exist. Like the treason charge. You can't charge somebody for treason after 3 years of committing the offense. So they charge him almost 4 or 5 years after he committed the offense. Some of the charges restated had already been struck out. So it was just what they call trial and error. His offense is that he was asking for the breakup of the real estate called Nigeria. And the owners of Nigeria decided that, you don't do that. That's what is that offense the Christians talk about that is unforgivable it's an offense against the Holy Spirit. This is an offense against the holy oil in Nigeria. That was the reason why Ken Saro-Wiwa was, when you touch that area, they don't waste time, the owners of Nigeria. Then you've touched their economic life and life. They'll kill you. They kill you immediately.
Have you been able to visit him in Sokoto?
I haven't, but I've had people who have visited that we've been in touch. I've been in touch with him in general, but I've not visited Sokoto yet. But you see what I was telling you when I was planning the protest for Nnamdi Kanu, which I believe also might have led, which I believe was the reason they didn't pronounce death penalty, because that was a lot of attention, and that was why they were upset with me and sent me to Kuje prison for 4 days over that. When we were planning all that, I was calling on all these Eastern governments to speak out. Now they've realized that it's even more burden on them that Nnamdi Kanu is sentenced to death. That's why Otti had to fly to Sokoto, maybe on a private jet, to go and visit Nnamdi Kanu. The judge is still going to go there and visit and apologize and confess. It happened to Fela. The judge who sentenced him, when Fela was there, was sent to Maiduguri, Bama prison. The judge drove there from Lagos to go and apologize, wherever he was. Judge is still going to, Tinubu will still visit Nnamdi Kanu in prison. But we told them this was unnecessary. They could have saved themselves embarrassment on November 20th by just charging him of just releasing him unconditionally. Because you could tell, how do you accuse somebody of killing Gulak when you have him in DSS custody? How did he do it? No evidence. The only evidence they have is a radio transmitter and microphone. I was looking for an evidence of, he went to buy a ship of weapons and sent to Nigeria. No, not even a bullet. Just exercise book where he wrote his thoughts, and where a radio transmitter they claim he concealed and brought to Nigeria, and a microphone. That's all.
Why do you think his release is important to Nigeria?
Because Nigeria entered voluntarily into a disease in 1963. And to exit from it and heal itself, you must address the outcome of the Civil War. All of this thing you're saying is the outcome of the 1970 Civil War. And it's part of the reason why you say I'm active on this matter is not political. I didn't fight that in that war when it was active, and I don't want to participate in fighting when it is cold. They're still waging a cold war against the Igbo man in Nigeria. I know it. I don't need to go to school to know that. I don't need to have a PhD in philosophy to know that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. But it would be hypocritical on my side to fight and speak on behalf of Palestinians when Israel is shelling them, and forget to fight on behalf of our local Palestinians in the southeast when Nigerian government is shelling them. That would be hypocrisy on my part.